My name is Eric Benari. This is Games People Play. In this episode, we're going to play the fun game, How Do You Get Out of Here? The historical evidence is that those prisoners who survive best have their time structured by an activity, pastime, or game. This is apparently well known to political police who are said to break down some prisoners by simply keeping them inactive and in a state of social deprivation. The favorite activity of solitary prisoners is reading or writing books, and their favorite pastime is the game of escape. While the favorite game is How Do You Get Out of Here, another game called Want Out may also be played in state hospitals. An inmate who really wants to be set free will find out how to comply with authorities so to be released at the earliest possible moment. The game of Want Out is played by inmates or by patients whose inner child does not actually want to get out. They simulate the game good behavior, but at the critical point, they will sabotage themselves so as not to actually be released. Thus, in the game of good behavior, the inner parent, inner adult, and inner child work together to be discharged. In the game of Want Out, the inner parent and inner adult go through the prescribed motions until the critical moment when the inner child, who is actually frightened at the prospect of venturing out into the uncertain world, takes over and spoils the effect. The game Want Out was common in the late 1930s among recently arrived immigrants from Germany who became psychotic. They would improve and beg for release from the hospital, but as the day of liberation approached, their psychotic manifestations would recur. Let's discuss the antithesis. Both games of Good Behavior and Want Out are recognized by alert administrators and can be dealt with at the executive level. Beginners in group therapy, however, are often taken in. A competent group therapist, knowing these are the most frequent manipulations in psychiatrically oriented prisons, will be watching them and will ferret them out at an early phase. Since good behavior is an honest operation, it may be treated as such, and there is no harm in discussing it openly. The game of Want Out, on the other hand, requires active therapy if the frightened inmate is ever to be rehabilitated. A close relative of the game Want Out is an operation called You've Gotta Listen. Here, the inmate of an institution or the client of a social agency demands the right to make complaints. The complaints are often irrelevant. His main purpose is to assure himself that he will be listened to by authorities. If they make the mistake of thinking that he expects the complaints to be acted on and cut him off as too demanding, there may be trouble. If they accede to his demands, he will increase the demands. If they merely listen patiently and with signs of interest, the got to listen game player will be satisfied and cooperative and will not ask for anything more. The administrator must learn to distinguish the game of You've Got to Listen from serious demands for remedial action. Bum Rap is another game that belongs in this family. A straight criminal may holler, "I got a bum rap," in a real effort to get out, in which case it is part of the procedure. The inmate who plays Bum Rap as a game, however, does not use it effectively to try to get out. If he gets out, he will no longer have much excuse to holler. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next game we will play.